Trigonometry, finding missing lengths in right-angled triangles. In our right-angled triangle there we have an unknown angle theta, and the three sides we label H, O and A. H is the hypotenuse, the longest side of the right-angled triangle. The opposite for O, which is opposite the angle we're given, which is theta, and A is adjacent, the third one. It's the one that's next to the angle but shorter. And SOH-CAH-TOA is a way of remembering these. Sine theta is opposite divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of theta is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. And the tangent of the angle is opposite divided by the adjacent. Whenever you're doing these sort of problems, you've got to think, is your answer sensible? And we've used this triangle as an example to help us understand that. So we have a triangle that's 3, 4, 5 are the three lengths. Note from Pythagoras, 3 squared plus 4 squared is 5 squared, and the three angles. Now look very closely, you can see the hypotenuse is always the longest side, opposite the right angle, opposite the largest angle. The shortest side is opposite the smallest angle. So when you're working this out, is it sensible? Are you expecting to get the shortest side? Are you expecting the longer side, or the one in the middle? Here's our first example. What is the value of x in this triangle? The first thing we need to do is label those sides. And it's the ones we're using. So we're using H and A. Doesn't matter about the other one. H is 14, A is x. So then we think, which one is that going to be? Write down that correct formula. So because it's A and H, that is cosine. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And now we've written that down, you then substitute the correct values into the correct places. So cos 35 is x divided by 14. That's a fraction, it's divide. So when you think, how do we work backwards? What is the opposite of dividing? What is the inverse of dividing by 14? And that is to multiply by 14. So we rearrange the equation. X is equal to 14 cos 35. Now always write it down like that, because that's what you're going to type into your calculator. Now that's the only time you need your calculator is right at the very end. We'll just solve that equation, and x is 11.5 to 3 significant figures, which is usually a sensible degree of accuracy. So have a go yourselves now. Here is another triangle. We've got x and 17, the angle's 58. So pause this video, have a go at it, and then come back to check your answer. Okay, so how'd you get on? We've got O and A. So this time we're going to use tan. So tan 58 is x divided by 17. So now multiply by 17, x equals 17 tan 58, which is 27.2 to 3 significant figures. Okay, our next example, slightly different. We're still trying to find x, but when we look at this, we've got 8 is opposite 76. So that means that x is going to be opposite 14 degrees, which is obviously the smallest angle. So we're looking for our answer to be the smallest length of that triangle. So x is going to be less than 8. So let's label the sides. O and A. Write down the correct formula. So this time we've got OS is opposite over adjacent, so it's tan. So tan 76 is 8 divided by x. And this is where the difference is, it's 8 divided by x. Okay, so when we rearrange that, we will get x equals 8 divided by tan 76. And when you solve that equation, you get 1.99, which, that's sensible, it's less than 8. And it's a lot less than 8, and also our angle 14 was a lot smaller than 76. So we'd expect that to be the answer. Now, had you decided to do 8 times 76, you'd have got an answer bigger than 8, so that would have told you you were wrong. So always check to see whether you should have multiplied or divided. Okay, so your turn now. Here is another one. So see if you can do some, pause the video and then come back and check your answer. Okay, so here we are, it's O and H this time. So that one is sine theta, is opposite divided by hypotenuse. Let's pop in the values. So sine 23 is 10 divided by x. Again, the unknown is on the bottom of the fraction, so when we rearrange it, x will equal 10 divided by sine 23. And we are hoping, because we're trying to find the hypotenuse, that this one should be larger than 10. Pop into your calculator, and yes, it is 25.6. So we know that is a sensible answer, and you are correct.